Hi, everybody. This is Zen Honeycutt of Moms Across America. This is our Monday night Moms Connect call. And at Moms Across America, our mission is to educate and inspire mothers and others to transform the food industry and environment, creating healthy communities together. And we are very excited to have our Monday night Moms Connect calls because we get to hear from you. At 4:30, I do a Facebook Live where I go through all the news, so I'm not going to go through that tonight. There's some big news. If you want to see it, please go to our Facebook Live on Moms Across America's Facebook page. But tonight, we're mostly going to hear from all of you. We were just talking about, before we got on the call, how Florida is still being impacted by the spraying of glyphosate in their water, in the reservoirs, in the ponds, in the rivers. All along water in the Everglades. There's a product called Aquamaster, which is being used down there, which is primarily glyphosate-based herbicides. And it absolutely is an assault on the environment and life in Florida and must stop. So we are coordinating with volunteers in Florida, and we did get some funding to do some testing. So if you are watching this and you want to get involved, please email info@momsacrossamerica. We're looking for volunteers in Florida to help out. So please do contact us, okay? And so we'd love to have people introduce themselves. Kimberly, since you're unmuted, you want to say hi, who you are, and where you're from?
Hi, I'm Kim OGrady, and I am in Melbourne, Florida, which is on the east coast of Florida. And I am an integrative health nutrition coach and just working to educate people on how to eat healthy, live healthy, and overcome all the conditions that come from not eating healthy.
Thank you very much for doing that. And I'm going to come back to you and ask you some questions about your occupation, okay? So, and Julie, what about you?
I study neurology and the effects of the glyphosate and the environment on the development of children's brains. What else would you like to know? I'm restoring citrus groves. I'm fighting glyphosate and Roundup. I've got the city of Stewart to ban glyphosate. They're in the process of banning fluoride as well from the city. I've got that fluoride out of the county. And,
awesome.
And the county is, we've met 3 times with the county now on alternatives because we have such a diverse area in Martin County that we need different applications of alternative herbicides. And I volunteered to help with the study, and I will also be on a prayer walk a week from this Saturday with some of the people. Betty Osceola is heading it up from the Miccosukee tribe to bring attention to Lake Okeechobee and the waters going south with the high cancer rates in the problems there. That's a 110-mile walk.
Wow, you're going to be doing that walk?
Yeah, 7 days, 110 miles around Lake Okeechobee.
Oh my goodness. Will you please photograph and do video?
Yep.
Okay, I might be sending a filmmaker down there too. Can you send me the link of the date and the time, location? I know some people who want to do, who want to film some action. Okay.
Great, thank you.
Great, so please do send that to me. All right, awesome. And Caitlin?
Yeah, I'm a nurse. I'm in Lafayette, California, and I work privately with clients and corporations just in education on lifestyle and nutrition and how and why you should live a clean and non-toxic lifestyle.
Great. Thank you so much. I just love all these people that are involved in health. And Carol, you can get in on that too.
Yeah, I can jump right in there on that one. I'm Carol Graba, and I am in Southern California. And I am a holistic nutritionist and a life coach. And I'm also the host of the internet talk radio show, Food Integrity Now. And we're not going to talk about what we're doing right now, but I'm excited on something I'm taking on right now that is just going to be fantastic.
Yay. Well, you put us in anticipation. You'll have to come back on another show another call and let us know what it is and how we can get the word out. That'd be great.
Yep.
Awesome. And Anne, can you unmute? Or want me to do it for you? I'll unmute. Oh.
I'm Ann Williams. I've been a nurse for 40 years. My cause, of course, is Parents Against Miralax with 30,000 members strong on Facebook. And just glyphosate's involved in polyethylene glycol. So another chemical we have to work on.
Yes, glyphosate and polyethylene glycol. If you don't know what that is, please look it up. And it's in Miralax. It's also in glyphosate-based herbicides, and it causes a lot of neurological damage. Correct? And neurological damage? Yes. Okay. So Ann Temple just put her video on. You want to say hi, Ann?
Yep. Hi, everybody. Ann Temple. I'm doing I do the graphic design work for Moms Across America. And this weekend, I went to the Milwaukee Winners Farmers Market. It's a great farmers market, and you get to meet lots of great people. And this spring, I plan on doing a lot of Facebook Lives with them. I was talking to them about coming out to their farms, getting people, you know, doing more knowledgeable about organics. And I also talked to a group called Groundwork Milwaukee, and they would love to partner up with us about getting the city, you know, the cities of Milwaukee to become toxin free. What they do is they repurpose all the brownfields in the area. You know, they have gathering spaces, exhibits, orchards, and gardens. And so they're doing some really great work, and they were really excited to talk to me. I was really excited to talk to them. So we have that. As I told you before, we're working on screening the food cure here in Milwaukee. So we're getting that finalized. And I'm also been working on, people have been asking me about, you know, what can they do? Because I've also been trying to educate people on asking questions about 5G, which isn't really something that we're working on right now, but people should be aware. And, you know, I'm trying to get people to start going to town hall meetings and asking questions. So, you know, but people are asking, they want to know what they can do, which is kind of nice to hear. That's about it.
That's awesome. And thank you so much for getting connected with your community, getting out there and, you know, just talking and sharing with people. So great. You know, you're just dropping these little seeds.
Oh, you know me.
Yes,
I don't have a problem talking.
I know. So great. Thank you very much. And for those of you who do have a problem talking, that's okay too. We need people to write letters and post on the internet. And, you know, it's just, you don't have to be a talker. You don't have to be a people person to make a difference in this field, industry. Okay. So Kelly Ryerson, want to introduce yourself? Are you frozen? I think she's frozen. Let me unmute you, Kelly. Maybe that makes a difference. Okay, maybe she will come off, you know, get off and come back on again or something. But Kelly Ryerson is glyphosate girl. She's the one who was in the Monsanto trial for 7 weeks, 6 to 8 hours a day. Don't know exactly how many hours, but and she blogged the entire Monsanto trial. So if you want to find out what happened in that trial and read some very engaging and delightful reporting, please do go to Glyphosate Girl. She just did an adorable graphics and just a great job. Okay, so I have a question for all of you. When she comes back on, I'll have her share. But I have a question for all of you. Oh, and Judy, did you want to say something? We can't see your screen, but did you want to say hello? Let me unmute you. Judy? Who you are?
Yeah.
Where you're from?
Sorry, I didn't want to join the screen because I look like crap. So,
Okay.
but I appreciate just being here.
Where are you from, Judy?
Oh, Rancho Palos Verdes.
Oh, okay, great. And another one in California. Yeah, we have a lot of California people, and it makes sense that California leads the way with environmental protection. I mean, our EPA standards are typically higher than the federal ones. So, and that I really do attribute to a lot of people like you guys that are making a difference and speaking up. So thank you very much. Okay, so I have a question for all of you. I really do want to hear from you. We have a major dilemma on our hands, and that is the new GMOs, right? They are sneaking into our food supply very quietly. They're doing this, the GMO proponents are doing all this great press. I don't know if you've talked to anybody about the new GMOs, but when I mention them to engineers or seemingly very intelligent people, what I get is, oh yeah, they're supposed to be great, right? Like CRISPR, gene editing, like that's their first response. Has anybody else had that response?
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah,
Anybody
like,
else talk to anybody about the new GMOs?
they're going to save the day. They're going to keep us from the suffering the effects of global warming because the food will be able to grow under hot conditions.
Right. Yes. So they're coming from this angle of climate change. They're using climate change to their advantage, and they're trying to say that it will be beneficial, even though the preliminary GMOs that are drought resistant and all of that in India have shown absolutely zero added benefit. Right? They are lying all over again. They say that it's a benefit, but it's not. Right? So so we have a major problem. And Kelly, I'll get back to you in a minute, okay? I just want to finish this sort of thinking and questioning around GMOs. We have a major problem because there are hundreds of gene editing, gene drives, CRISPR GMOs in the pipeline, hundreds. And the mushroom was recently approved. The soy and corn we know is being planted already. The soy and corn CRISPR gene editing probably will go into the feed supply first, right? They usually try it out on the animals first. So we don't know that the soy and corn and the mushrooms are actually in the food supply, and that's the problem, right? And then there's hundreds of others. So what do you guys want to do? If you have ideas about what we can do to raise awareness about these new GMOs, I want to hear them. And then I have a particular flyer that I want to ask you questions about and get some feedback on. So does anybody have any, hi, Isabel from Connecticut. Does anybody have any particular ideas or angles that you'd like to see that we could take around the GMO awareness for the new GMOs? Or any questions? Do you have any questions about it that might help us with an angle?
Well, I just think it's really important, obviously, to just keep the education going around it, whatever that looks like to you, in to your people. I mean, I've done an article on Food Integrity Now about it, and I plan to do more. Maybe do some interviews with, some experts who really know about it, the real deal on it. But I think I agree with you, Zen. I think it's a real problem because they're just slowly, well, I don't even think it's slow anymore. It's just kind of infiltrating, our food supply, and nobody knows about it.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Well, luckily, did I send you a copy of, or a picture of the no Roundup sign that I have on the back of my car? Did it come through?
So.
It might not have. Okay, because I made a big sign on the back, and I'm getting a lot of people asking me questions. And so I thought I should probably have some brochures to hand out when they do ask me questions. I'll be in a parking lot, standing in line paying it. Oh, are you the one that had the sign on the back of the car? And then we start talking right away, and then everybody else starts listening. So
I put one on my car. What does yours look like?
Oh, it's really nice. It's a see-through, and I had it done. It's got it's red, and it's got a line around it, and then it just says no Roundup, and then no glyphosate underneath, and then restoring Martin County along the red line at the bottom. It's really nice.
Fantastic. Yeah.
So, but we've got to get people talking and asking questions, or at least bringing it up, because if we bring it up, they're like, their minds are on something else. But it's pretty visual. So wherever I drive, I'm getting questions now.
That's great. Awesome. Thank you. Well, that's very important for Roundup in our neighborhoods. And if you guys, anybody else has any feedback on GMOs and the food supply, on the CRISPR and gene editing, all that?
The other thing, when Howard did his presentation, it is on YouTube now. Somebody put it on for us. So
can you give us that link?
Just Google Howard Vlieger, and it was December. It was in December of this.
Okay, I have not seen it. Okay.
And, it's a 2-hour presentation that he did, and
in Florida.
And
okay.
Yeah, so hopefully the sound is, they brought the sound up. I'm not sure, but he was showing us all the congenital malformations. So it's great. I've been handing out copies of that to a lot of people, and I have them ready when people are asking me. I really need to know more, and then I can send it to them. So I am doing that.
Okay, and Kelly's asking, what about Liberty Link?
Yeah, so I didn't know that's what it was called, the new GMOs, I guess, that are coming out by Dow. Or maybe, are they, no, I think it is Dow. But I was listening to Zach Bush's just the podcast from last week. I don't know if you've had a chance to listen to it yet, but it was outstanding. It was 2 hours of really everything that we're talking about, and a nonprofit organization that he's founded to go in with the farmers. And
what podcast was that on?
Rich Roll. Yeah, it's on. It's really beautifully spoken. I think like a lot of the issues. One of the most interesting things that probably you know, Zen, is that when he was filming a documentary with the farmers, and the biggest impediment he found was that if you decide to go organic, even though it's going to be very profitable, it's like social isolation from the other farmers in the community. Yep. That is so tragically sad. So he's just started a nonprofit that's going to try and join together smaller groups so that they can try and exit this horrible situation together, because everyone knows it's bad. But yeah, and that's when he was saying, can you believe this new Liberty link that's going to be even more resistant to everything, but now it'll feed the world. You know, it's still the same lies. It's remarkable. Zen, you probably noticed by my emails this week, I'm starting to feel more and more frustrated. Like we need to go and shake a lot of people.
Yes, we're all pretty frustrated. Yes. So Julie's asking you to contact Libby.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see where that link was, where I can go and
so yeah, so look at the chat box. If you haven't seen the chat box yet, just click on the little bubble below and you can see what people are saying on the side here. And yeah, so Kelly, I gave your introduction, by the way, while you were logging off and on, and told everybody to go to Glyphosate Girl and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so we don't have too much time left, so I do want to ask you all for input. If you think of anything else for raising awareness about GMOs, the gene jive and gene editing and all of that, like for instance, what I want to put out there is that when you think about it, you have questions, like what is it and how is it different, and things like that we need to address in order to communicate clearly, right? So if you think of things that, like, what was the moment where it clicked for you, that it made sense that, you didn't want gene drives and gene editing and all that, like it wasn't a new great thing. Those are the kind of points that we need to address in our flyers and in our, infographics and all of that kind of stuff. So does anybody have any more feedback about that before I get to some more questions?
Zen, my one comment that I would say is I meet moms, because this is the platform I'm on with moms, is trying to educate them on how to overcome health challenges with their children. Mm-hmm. And it specifically relates to GMOs, and I touch on vaccines in a very limited amount, that parents think it's pseudoscience. So the GMOs, the stuff that I'm introducing to them, they think it's pseudoscience. We need more people backing it from a scientific standpoint. I think there's lots of science, and I bring them to the science that shows that it's not pseudoscience, but so many of our medical practitioners are like, there's nothing wrong with this GMO food. And they also say, I want to go to Publix, which is our local store. I just want to go to Publix and I want to buy food, and I don't want to have to look for GMO labels, right, or non-GMO labels. And so that's my struggle that I'm finding as I'm dealing with a lot of moms.
Okay. Thank you very much. So we could use more scientists. Yes. Caitlin. Wait, hang on, Julie. Caitlin. Go ahead, Caitlin.
Yeah, my 2 cents was, I think that our campaigns often get either extremely polarized, either to too complicated that the general population doesn't resonate with it, mm-hmm, or too simple that people think it's pseudoscience. So people say no GMOs, or people say no GMOs because it affects this so-and-so pathway and sugarmate pathway, and a lot of people, they don't know what that is, so they don't care. But small infographics that would say like GMOs and depression because it alters the precursor to serotonin, period, or just like pick 3 diseases and do an infographic with those as to how GMOs relate to that, because then someone can resonate like, oh, my kid has depression, and then maybe do that, or my kid has this, as opposed to overdoing our lists. And then my second point would be maybe market to the maternal infant couplet, because moms are the people, new moms consume the most amount of information. And so if a week by week, somehow getting into one of those information seminars for moms, either with the week by week or effective glyphosate on the developing fetus, if you can get a mom to go organic when they're pregnant, they're more likely to continue that when they are newly postpartum and have a young family, and you're really likely to consume information when you're pregnant.
So do you have any new mom like blogs or webinars or channels or chat rooms that you can recommend? Could you give us a list of like the top 5 or 10 that you know of?
Or like Capo organization or like a gold conference. Yeah, I'll get a few and maybe I'll email them to you.
Yes, please email me that zen@momsacrossamerica.org. That would be so awesome, because then we can have a volunteer contact them and email them with information and say, you know, would you like perhaps somebody like you or me or Kimberly to be a guest and to talk about this? It doesn't have to always be me. It can be, you know, it can be somebody who actually has a new baby too. You know, my kids are pretty grown now.
Zen, also, if you focus on the International Lactation Consultants Association, those are all pro breastfeeding and very positive, and that might be a really good group to get into, even for you to go speak at their international conference that they have.
That's a great idea. The international, lactation. Yeah. Okay. Good idea. Okay. And and then Julie, you wanted to say something.
Well, I guess I come from the negative point of view, is that, you know, when I listen to Professor Huber speak, you can pick up his audio from Acres USA. They just had a conference in December, and he did a 2-hour update presentation, HUBER, and it's about $12 to download that particular speech, and he's amazing when it comes to understanding GMOs. And then what Howard gave in that 2-hour presentation that we had here in Stewart, he was showing all the complications, and it's really not good. People don't realize the malformations that are happening and the congenital malformations that are happening, and the amount of aborted fetuses that are so malformed. Dr. Huber was, I mean, I heard him say it directly when Howard was here, is that they just incinerate them immediately. It's happening. There's too many miscarriages, and there's too many children that are dying that first day. We've got the highest death rate on that first day, and it's coming from those, not even from the vaccinations, it's coming from the GMO food.
Yeah,
so,
and the malformations are horrific. I've seen them, and actually I just found an article that I started and I didn't get to, which talks about, from the pig farm, the malformations of the tongue. And we know that our babies are having trouble breastfeeding, right? Yep. And there's an epidemic happening of tongue ties. And so my article is going to link the two and ask people to look into, you know, are these mothers consuming food with glyphosate while they're pregnant, and is there a malformation that's happening, right? And connect the two in the form of a question, and have people consider how important it is to eat organic while you're pregnant, because it really can affect their breastfeeding ability. And these cows, like their tongues are lolling out of their mouths, they can't lap up, they're deformed. It's absolutely one of the deformity.
It is the formation of that the core nervous system, and that's where that neural tube is developing. And at first, it became, when glyphosate first started, it was the spina bifida, so they tried to cover that up, and Stephanie talks about that, but it was a folate deficiency that it caused, but they're trying to use folic acid, which doesn't help. So it's, make sure you get that folate, especially in those early weeks.
Zen.
Yes.
Here is a great story. When I lived in San Diego and practiced as a lactation consultant, there was an RD, and I actually volunteered with this group where I worked in the recovery room where we did cleft palates coming over from Mexico. Mm-hmm. But this RD said that her husband was a vet, and they lived in San Diego County, and one day they dipped their dog in pesticides of some kind for fleas, not knowing that the dog was pregnant. And when all of the puppies were delivered, they all had cleft palates and, you know, oral malformations. And she said that the reason that we had so many cleft palates coming over from Mexico, of course, the limitations in the U.S. were not there in Mexico for pesticides. So I would love to get her name for you, because it's just an interesting story and indicative of exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, if you could get a quote from them or more information for them, that would be really great. That connects right back to, you know, what happened in Asia with all the cleft palates after the Agent Orange spraying too. You know, that's a major factor for all of that. All the people that have donated for that don't know that they're just really helping clean up Monsanto's mess that they caused over there. Okay, so I have to get to some questions, but Judy, yes, we constantly talk about the pre-harvest application of Roundup as a desiccant. If somebody's been to our website and hasn't seen that, they're not poking around, because we constantly talk about that. So yes, we will raise more awareness about that in pretty much every single flyer that we put out now. We do urge you to go to our website and to get our flyers. If you can't afford, to buy a lot of them, if you create an event, whether it's just a movie night or a coffee, gathering, and you post your event on our website, it can be at a coffee shop, doesn't have to be at your house. And then when we know that you're serious about posting an event, you will get a code for a free box of materials. So all you have to do is pay about $20 for shipping, and you get about 1,000 flyers. So you get our Why Eat Organic flyer, our Toxic Burden flyer that says that we can do better. You get stickers and buttons and all that, as long as our supplies last. Okay, so please do get a hold of our flyers and pass those out. Leave them at the whole stack of them at your library or at your school, and you can start educating your community and get people to come to Moms Across America. And then this year, we are going to do a better job of connecting you guys. And I know that our Nation Builder system has not been the most fabulous for that. So we are looking for volunteers to help with that, to help connect groups. And we have a phone tree that we talked about last week that we're going to start set up where, 12 people call, 8 people who call, 4 people who call, like that. And we're going to reach 3,000 people. We're just working out some kinks and need to get the first 12 batch trained and all that stuff. So we're working on it. That is coming up in this new year very, very soon. Okay, but before we go, it's already 5:31. If you guys can give me 5 more minutes, I have some questions for you. So what came up recently in talking to Friends of the Earth was, how are we going to raise awareness about this GMO issue? These gene editing, gene drives that people are thinking is the greatest thing since sliced bread, right? Well, Natural Products Expo West is coming up, which is the biggest gathering. It's like 80,000 people. You're going? Awesome. Yeah. Let me know when you're there. So we go and we walk the floors and we interview people and we raise awareness about awesome new companies. But it's also an opportunity to go and pass out flyers, I think, to these food manufacturers and to let them know what we don't want and what we want. So I was thinking it might be a good idea to pass them a flyer saying, do you want to sell your products to moms? Here's our top 10 most important things that you can do to sell your products like hotcakes to us moms, right? Like, here's our top 10 gold standard. Number 1, we want our food to be whatever it is. And so I want to ask you, what are your top 10? What are the things that you most look for when you're buying, especially a food product for your family? Just rattle them off. Tell me, shout them out.
Organic.
Okay, great.
Non-GMO.
Great.
Local.
Local. Okay.
Dye-free.
Dye-free. Great. Okay.
Radiation-free.
Okay.
How about pesticide-free?
Yes, thank you.
Transportation. Well, I said local, but the transportation does a major job on our organic.
Okay. Yeah. So reducing carbon emissions, right? We might have a.
Well, it's not just carbon emissions. It's that when they put those boxes in the freight cars, they usually haven't been cleaned, and so that it seeps into the cardboard boxes that the organic food's in.
Okay. So transportation and contamination, right? Reducing contamination. Okay.
Certified glyphosate residue free.
Okay. Thank you.
In a perfect world.
Yeah.
Well, there is a certification. There is.
When it says when they use sugar, they need to define where it's coming from.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Free of heavy metals.
Hot grass.
Julie, what type of sugar do you want?
Well, I can get organic cane sugar here because I'm in the fields, but at least know that it's cane and it's natural and it's not sprayed.
Okay, organic cane sugar. Okay, great. And somebody said not grass finished?
Yeah, because then they're not, if they haven't been eating.
Oh, do you want grass fed 100%? You want 100%?
Yeah.
Okay, 100% grass fed. Okay. And
no antibiotics.
Great. And let me think what else. So
humanely raised.
Yes, humanely raised. Okay, and I'm gonna clarify in the non-GMO. That means no, BT, HT, or CRISPR, right?
Yep.
And a lot of times, even when I was looking for, again, talking to farmers about what feed they use, I go to the feed store as well, and they don't know where they're getting their alfalfa and their grains. They don't even know that it's GMO. That's the sad part.
Right.
So what the feed is to these animals, it's challenging.
We want fair trade too, as much as possible, right?
Yep.
Okay. This is a pretty good list. This is more than 10. What else? Anybody else have anything to add?
Yeah,
I just started buying coffee that was certified mold free.
What?
Yeah.
that's a
It's
thing.
Ben Greenfield. He's like a huge podcaster, but he did a bunch of studies on coffee and antioxidant ratios. And so organic obviously has more antioxidants than that, but his have 4 times the amount of antioxidants and are certified mold free, because I guess coffee in the roasting process or after can develop a lot of mold or mycotoxins.
Yep.
So his is now
Mold.
certified
I
free.
thought you were saying mold free.
Mold. Sorry.
Yeah, and you know why that's happening? Because glyphosate kills off the beneficial bacteria that would normally balance out the mold. So the fungus and all of that are just growing rampantly. So there's an imbalance that's happening. Yeah.
We also have to talk about the where, if they're using milk products like whey, they need to say where it's coming from because of the botulinum.
So we want transparency. We want to know the source on everything, right?
Yeah.
Good luck. If it's U.S. source or foreign source too.
U.S. or foreign. Okay. Thank you. This is very helpful, because what we could do is have a checklist and, and say, like, do you meet 50%, right, of our gold standards, or 100%, right? Like, we want to celebrate you. We want to feature you. We'll put you on our list, right? Like, if you reach 100% of these parameters, then we're gonna celebrate you. So
that is a fantastic idea, Zen. Moms across America could have like a seal.
We could, yeah.
Like 100%, you met 100% of these requirements, and it would be like you said, the gold standard. Great idea.
Yeah. Moms Across America Gold Standard. And when I was talking to Friends of the Earth, they said that the Climate Collaborative has a gold standard, but like their gold standing around agriculture is simply carbon farming. They don't say anything about GMOs. They don't say anything about pesticides. And when asked why, they're just like, well, because we want to include all farmers. Well, some of these farmers are freaking causing the climate chaos.
Yes.
So you got to hold them accountable. We have to have standards. That's not a gold standard to include, GMOs and toxic pesticide farming and destroying the soil. You can't sequester carbon if you're destroying the soil.
That's true. So, also add packaging to your list, because there's some really nasty.
Oh, yes.
Oh, great idea.
Like not, no plastic packaging or low plastic packaging, right? What do you want to say about that?
Biodegradable.
Oh, biodegradable. Okay, thank you.
And no chemicals.
And hey, then as far as transparency, remember that there's all the chickens are being grown here, but they're being shipped to China to be processed, and then they're being sent back. So we need this transparency to go all the levels.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yes. Source and processing.
Where was it grown and where was it processed?
Right. Source and processing. Great. Thank you very much.
That is great, because a lot of times I looked at moringa and it was coming from Africa, and you don't know if they're using stems or leaves or how long it had been since they actually harvested it. It was not good.
Great. Okay. Yeah. So packaging, biodegradable packaging, and so if we say biodegradable, we really don't have to say like no plastic, right? Because plastic is.
They may use a plastic, but let's find out if it's it's acceptable.
How about plastic? If they use a plastic not from GMO corn or soy too, that's important, right? Non-toxic plastic, not sourced from GMO corn or soy.
Because then I see some new fruit produce packaging that's supposedly compostable. but
Right.
that's probably made from corn, and it doesn't say organic on it.
Right.
And so they market it as compostable, but I don't put it in my compost because I don't know where it's from. And then the other thing too is that all the ingredients on the label. So oftentimes there's other ingredients like citric acid, and that's, the product is organic and GMO free, but it has citric acid, and it doesn't say that it's from an organic source. So
Right.
citric
Yeah.
acid.
So we want all ingredients to be right. Okay. Well, I think that's a really good list. If you guys think of any others, you can email me at zen@momsacrossamerica.org. Thank you very much, Carol, for being on. Appreciate it. And everybody else. Let's see. Oh yeah, Frankie doesn't like the QR code. And farmer verified to not use pesticides. Okay, I'm not very familiar with farmer verified. I'm not sure if I feel really comfortable putting that on, but I will look it up.
Also put on their water source if they're using a liquid. Find out where their water source is.
Okay.
Whether they're actually filtering it or not, because sometimes they're using fluoridated water.
There's no such thing as farmer verified, but I was the one who wrote that, because you have to go to the farmer to find out if he's using pesticides or if he even knows what's objectionable about it. For example, when I went to Sprouts and tried to get glyphosate-free oats, I wanted to know where is this bulk oats coming from. They had to go to the distributor, the supplier, all the way back to the farmer, and it took them a couple months. And then the information came all the way back down the chain. Come to find out, the farmer was still spraying with glyphosate. So, and he said, "Oh, we're trying to stop, but well, that's not good enough."
Trying is not doing.
Right.
And also, the whole thing is nobody along that chain knew the answer until you got to the farmer.
Okay. Yep. Right. Yes, because he's the one that's growing it. He's the one that knows. So you want to have verification from the farmer that they have not used the pesticides. I see what you're saying.
I think it's a real interesting way to go is to start talking to the farmers, that the consumer needs to know that the farmer is connected in that loop. Because if they're sourcing from many different farmers, then they should have to go to every single farmer and ask them, "Are you still spraying with Roundup?"
Right.
Okay.
When Howard gave his presentation, he also introduced a new alternative that could replace the spraying, the pre-harvest spraying, as a desiccant, and it's natural and it won't hurt the environment.
Yes, it's being sold in Australia now, and we hope for it to be in the U.S. soon. And so we're gonna, keep our eyes out from that. That's the thing. Frustration is the mother of invention, right? When we are frustrated with the current situations, we will invent something new, and we're really glad that scientists and farmers are working together to do that. So yes, we knew that Red Mills was sued because they found glyphosate in their organic oatmeal. A lot of products are being contaminated with glyphosate. The good news is, though, that there are mills that are segregating now or not allowing glyphosate sprayed grains. It is happening. There's one of the largest oat mill in either US or Canada up north there is no longer allowing oats into their mill that have been sprayed with glyphosate. That is huge. And there's a barley mill in Australia that segregates now, sprayed and not sprayed. There's China is not allowing, well, it's yet to be completely verified. I have a source in China that says there might be some, backstepping on this, but what was announced was that China would not allow imports on grains that have been sprayed with glyphosate and have residues over 200 parts per billion. So that's a big deal. I don't know the name of the mill that's segregating their oats. I have a quote from the woman from the Oats Association. It's either in Canada or North Dakota, but it's the biggest oat mill that processes oats in either Canada or North America. So I got to go because it's almost 5:45, and I told my family that this would be a half-an-hour call, but I really appreciate you all being on here. Your feedback was fantastic. I think we have almost 20 ideas for Gold Standard. I'm going to put the words together, and Anne is going to get a nice little request to make up this flyer. And we're going to work with Friends of the Earth on it too, because when we put GMO on there, we're going to have a little star and we're going to say, for more information, go to Friends of the Earth, right? So that these food companies that have never heard of gene drives or gene edited can be educated and can then go to Friends of the Earth and find out more about GMOs and gene drives to find out what we don't want. So I really appreciate your feedback. You guys are awesome. And please do be in our next week's call. And if you can, please check volunteer when you go to Moms Across America and sign in. Please check volunteer, so then you'll get a request to be a part of our phone tree that we're putting together in the next couple of weeks, okay? Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
Ann.
Take care. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.